Yesterday we were discussing about Mizoram, but then due to, you can say, some topic which was there, that is why we diverted our discussion towards, you can say, some other topic that was related with science. And so today I will start from the beginning of the discussion on the topic of this Mizoram, right? So our today's topic is Mizoram, right? Mizoram, right? So today's topic is Mizoram, right? So here one thing which is simple. First of all, let us you can say, right, try to make it map. You can see, right, which is important for your understanding, right? So it goes like this. Goes like this from right, and from here it goes like this. So this is the rough map of the state of Mizoram, we can say, right? So this is its rough map, right? So Mizoram is such a state which is bordered on the three sides by, you can say, Indian states. That is, here on the north there is state of Assam, and here towards the, we can say, northeast there is the Manipur. There is Manipur, and here towards, we can say, this side, that is the Tripura, right? Towards this side, northwest, it is Tripura, and you can say then this side, towards the east side, you will find Bangladesh. Here you will find Bangladesh there, right? And towards the, you can say, southern side and western side, you will find, right? So I'm just drawing a line over here just so that you must be clear that on this side, on this entire side, there is, you can say, the state of, sorry, the Myanmar country is there on this entire side. So here it is Myanmar, right? So it means, you can say, it is such a state of India, right, which is bordered by two countries. The one is Myanmar, and the second is the Bangladesh. And there are three Indian states which border the state of Mizoram. We can see, right, three Indian states which border the state of Mizoram, right. So that is why Mizoram is strategically an important state for India because of its, you can say, uh, because of its proximity to the two countries. One is Bangladesh and second is Myanmar, right? And both the countries are, you can say, suffering from the internal disturbances, like our Northeast is also suffering from internal disturbances there. So that is why Mizoram is a strategically an important state of India. We can uh, see, right? So now the next thing is that Mizoram is the southernmost state. Mizoram is the southernmost state, right, of all the northeast states of India. All the northeast states of India. Right? So it is the southernmost state of all the northeast states of India. So that is an important point, right? And the second thing is that Mizoram is the, right. Mizoram is the second least populous state of India. Is the least populous state of India after, right, after Sikkim, right, after Sikkim, right. So this is also an important point which you should bear in mind. And the next important point is that Mizoram, right? Mizoram sits on Tropic of Cancer. Right? Mizoram sits on Tropic of Cancer. Tropic of Cancer, right? So Tropic of Cancer, right? It runs almost through the center of the state, right? So almost through the middle of the state, we can say, right? Through the middle of the state. So this is about this, the basic information about this, about the Mizoram, right? And one more fact, right, which you should remember that Mizoram, right? Mizoram is the highly literate, tribal dominated, right? Is the highly literate, tribal dominated, agrarian state. Tribal dominated agrarian state. So it is a state which depends on agriculture and which is dominated by the tribal population also. And here in this state, the literacy rate is very high, right? So it is the highly literate, tribal dominated agrarian state, we can say, right? So as far as the, you can say, little about the past of the Mizoram state is concerned, right? So the region came under the British, right? The region came under the British control in 1891, right? In 1891, right? And the British banned the practice of and the British banned the practice of head hunting in the state. Right? British banned the practice of head hunting in the state. They banned the practice of head hunting in the state. So it means the head hunting practice was there, was practiced there in the state, right? So if such a statement is put there in the question in the examination hall, so that will be the correct statement about the Mizoram, right? So the next is you can say after independence, right? After independence, right? Till 1972, till 1972, the state remained, right? Till 1972, the state remained a part of Assam, right? The state remained a part of Assam. Then in 1972, it was made a union territory, right? It was made a union territory, and then in 1987, right? It was elevated to it was elevated to a full-fledged state of India, right? Elevated to a full-fledged state of Indian Union, right? State of Indian Union, right? So this is the brief, you can say, timeline, brief history of the state, if I would like to tell you, right? So now the next thing is that, is it clear up to this point? Have you noted it down?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay. So now let me move further, right? So the next important point is that Mizoram is a tribal dominated state, as we have discussed earlier. Mizoram is a tribal dominated state, right? Mizoram is a tribal dominated state where about where about 95% of population of the state is tribal, right? 95% population of the state is tribal, right? So during you can say 18th and 19th century, during 18th and 19th centuries, right? 18th and 19th centuries, you can say, sorry, wrong here. During 16th and 18th centuries, during 16th and 18th centuries, right? waves of migrants entered into this region, entered into this region, right? Entered into this region from, right, from, we can say, Southeast Asia, from Southeast Asia, and settled there, right, from Southeast Asia and settled there. So waves of migrants entered and from the Southeast Asia, and they settled there in that region, right? So now uh, Mizoram is a, right. So Mizoram is a Christian majority state. Right? Mizoram is a Christian majority state. Right? Beta, let's suppose there is a question which is asked to you in the examination that, right, which among the following states of India, which among the following states of India, right, is our Christian majority, right? Christian majority state of states, right? इंडिया की इनमें से कौन सी स्टेट्स हैं जो क्रिश्चियन मेजॉरिटी स्टेट्स हैं, ठीक है? लेट्स सपोज देयर द चॉइसेस आर, नंबर वन इज मिजोरम, राइट, नंबर टू इज, लेट्स सपोज दैट इज द मेघालय, and number three is, let's suppose, Nagaland, right? And number four is, let's suppose, we can say Manipur. So you have been asked that which among the following states is our Christian majority states, right? So let's suppose the first choice is one only, right? And suppose the second choice here is one and two only, right? One and two only, right? And suppose there we can say third choice is one, three, and four only, right? One, three, and four only, right? And let's suppose the fourth choice is one, two, and three only. One, two, three only. So what will be your answer in that case? So
Mizoram.
Okay, so beta, this is an important question, right? So you must bear it in mind that we can say there are, right? You must bear it in mind that there are only three Christian majority states in India, right? There are three Christian majority states in India. Christian majority states in India, according to 2011 census, right? Christian majority states of India, and those three Christian majority states include, one is the Mizoram, which we have just, you can say, talked about, and the second is, we can say, Meghalaya, right? And the third is there, that is the, you can say, Nagaland, right? So these three are the Christian majority states of India, right? So third is the Nagaland, right? Nagaland. So these three are the Christian majority states of India, right? So you must bear it in mind, right? In Nagaland, 90% population is Christian, right? And as far as the Mizoram is concerned, again about 90% population is Christian. And as far as the Meghalaya is concerned, approximately 83% population is Christian. 90, 90, 83, right? So these are the three Christian majority states of India, right? So always bear it in mind. Don't forget it, right? So as I have told you that Mizoram is a tribal dominated state where 95% population is tribal, right? So let me tell you a brief about the, you can say, tribal status in India, right? About the, sorry, uh, tribal population in India. Little bit about that, right? I will tell you the, right, that statistics is also important. So in brief, I'm going to tell you about that schedule, tribe population in total population in India according to 2011 census. According to 2011 census, the scheduled tribe population in total population of India, right, was 8.6%, right, was 8.6%. So this was the total percentage of the scheduled tribe population in the total population of our country, right? So as far as this is concerned, right, so you must know that the percentage of scheduled tribe population in rural India is higher as compared to the urban centers, right? So if we take the case of, you can say, rural India, right? In rural India, the percentage of the scheduled tribe population was, we can say, 11.3%, right? Whereas in this, we can say urban India, the percentage of population was 2.8% of the total population, right? And in the whole country, it is, you can say, 8.6% of the total population, right? So now we will move little further, right? And here we will discuss that that you can say states or union territories of India, right? States or union territories of India with highest of India, right? With highest percentage of, right? With highest percentage of scheduled tribes population, right? So which are the states or union territories of India which have the highest percentage of scheduled tribe population, right? So number one, it is Lakshadweep, right? Lakshadweep. In Lakshadweep, the percentage of scheduled tribe population is about 95%, 98.4% it is there, right, in Lakshadweep, right? And as far as the Mizoram is concerned, right, in Mizoram, so this is 94.4%. So we can say that among the states of India, Mizoram is the state which is having the highest scheduled tribe population percentage, right? And overall India, if we talk about that, Lakshadweep is the territory, right, which is having the highest scheduled tribe population percentage, right? And third comes the Nagaland. As far as the Nagaland is concerned, there also the scheduled tribe population is very high, which is 86.5%, right? And then comes Meghalaya, right? And in Meghalaya also, scheduled tribe population is very high. That is 86.1% scheduled tribe population, right? And then it comes the Arunachal Pradesh, right? Arunachal Pradesh, right? In that Arunachal Pradesh also, the scheduled tribe population is 68.8%, so more than 50% it is again there, right? So now one important another fact here is that Madhya Pradesh, right? Madhya Pradesh has the, right, has the, we can say, has the maximum, the highest, right, scheduled tribe population in India. Population wise, Madhya Pradesh has the highest number, right, population in India, right, followed by, right, followed by, we can say, Maharashtra, followed by Maharashtra, and we can say Odisha, right? One Madhya Pradesh, second Maharashtra, third is Odisha, right? So you should bear it in mind that if the question is about the percentage of scheduled tribe population, then at number one is Lakshadweep, right? And if the question is about the, right, scheduled tribe population only, percentage is not mentioned, then in that case, it is the Madhya Pradesh which is having the highest scheduled tribe population in our country, right? So I hope it is clear to you up to this point. So now the next, now the next thing is that we can say 91.58% population of Mizoram, right? Population of Mizoram is literate, right? 98.5% population of Mizoram is literate, right? So we can say that Mizoram, right? Mizoram is the, Mizoram is the, we can say, right, third most literate state, is the third most literate state of India, right? Third most literate state of India, right? State of India after Kerala, and we can say the Lakshadweep, after Kerala and Lakshadweep, right? Number one Kerala, number two Lakshadweep, number three Mizoram. If it is asked among the states, then Mizoram is second, right? And next time, the uh, two districts of the state of Mizoram are the most literate districts in India, right? The two districts of the state are are the most literate districts, right? Are the most literate districts of the country, most literate districts of the country, right? So one district is, we can say, Sidhu. One is Sidhu, right? Where the literacy rate is 98.76%. That is the literacy rate in that district, right? And the second is, we can say, right, as a whole, right? As a whole. And as a whole, as far as a whole is concerned, the literacy rate is 98.55%. So these are the two most literate districts in our country, right? You should bear it in mind, right? And the next is the state has right, the state has the highest we can say child sex ratio also, child sex ratio also, right? Child sex ratio also. So in this state, the sex ratio is also the highest, right? In the, we can say, country, right? So these are some facts which you should be in mind, right? So now I am coming on the question. Let's suppose this question is asked to you in the examination, right? Select the, right? Select the correct statements, right? So suppose this is the question which is asked. Select the correct statement or statements. The first statement is, let's suppose, as per 2011 census, right? As per 2011 census, right? We can say as per 2011 census, right? So we can say Mizoram has the highest sex ratio in India. Mizoram has the highest sex ratio in India. Has the highest sex ratio in India. So this is the one question, one statement, right? Mizoram has the highest sex ratio in India. This is the one point, right? So now let's suppose there is the next point, right? Highest sex ratio in India. So now let us come on the next point, right? So as far as the next point is concerned, uh, it is, you can say, Mizoram has the highest percentage of a scheduled tribe population. Mizoram has the highest percentage of, right? Mizoram has the highest percentage of, we can say, scheduled tribe population, right? Scheduled tribe population, right? Scheduled tribe population as per 2011 census, right? As per 2011 census. So Mizoram has the highest scheduled tribe population as per this 2011 census. So now let's suppose the third statement here comes that, right? The third statement here is that is the Mizoram is number one state of India in terms of, right? That is Mizoram is there is Mizoram is number one state of India, right? Number one state of India in terms of, right? Number one state of India in terms of, we can say, in terms of the percentage of a forest cover, right? In terms of a percentage of forest cover, right? Forest cover. to the total area of the state. The total area of the state, right? Total area of the state, right? So percentage of forest cover के point of view से देखना है कि मिजोरम number 1 state है या नहीं है. So that is the right. So now the next statement, let's suppose, comes that the statement number 4, right, comes that you can say there is a among the northeastern states, among the northeastern states, among the northeastern states, right, Mizoram is the most literate state. Mizoram is the most literate state, right? So this is the fourth statement, let's suppose, which is there. So you need to answer these the question on the basis of the following codes. Yeah, right, using the following codes. Let's suppose the code number 1 is there, that is, you can say, oh, 4 only. Let's suppose there is 4 only, right? And suppose the here it is B option is 3 and 4. Let's suppose 3 and 4 only, right? And let's suppose the C option there is right. The C option there is, let's suppose we can say 1, 2 and 4 only, right? 1, 2 and 4. And let's suppose the D option here is that, right? The D option is 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? So find the correct one, which is the correct statement. So let us see the first statement first. As per 2011 census, Mizoram has the highest sex ratio in India. Is it true? Is it true, beta?
No, sir.
No,
Kerala,
sir.
highest.
Kerala
Yes,
it is.
yes,
No, sir. Kerala.
yes. Because if there would be highest child sex ratio, then it would be correct. Right,
Yes,
here
sir.
it
Then
is.
Mizoram.
Yes. Here it is mentioned only child, only highest sex ratio. So highest sex ratio is that of the Kerala, right? So this is wrong statement. Second is Mizoram has the highest percentage of a scheduled tribe population as per 2011 census. Is it there?
No, sir.
Is
Lakshadweep.
yes. So this is again wrong. It is Lakshadweep. And number 3, Mizoram is number 1 state of India in terms of percentage of forest covered to the total forest area of India. This is a correct statement because in 2020, the new state of forest report has been released in India, right? That you can see we will discuss is in the next 1 or 2 days, right? So I will discuss it with you. So beta, this statement is correct statement. Among the northeastern states, Mizoram is the most literate state. This is also correct, right? As I have told you that in literacy, number 1 state is which?
Yes, sir.
I have just told you. Number 1
Kerala, sir.
state, Kerala. Number 2,
So, sir, थोड़ा recall नहीं हो रहा.
no, you have just noted it down
Okay, sir.
few minutes ago. Right, so that is Lakshadweep. Mizoram is the third most literate state, as I have told you.
Yes, sir. Yes, we have noted it.
Okay, so that is the, so that is why the correct answer is this 3 and 4, right? So you should right, try to note these minor differences, right? So that is important. So here it is a sum, right? And you can see here it is Myanmar. Okay, so now let us move further, right? So as far as the next point is concerned, right? So that is the languages. That is the languages. The next point is, right? So that is the languages. So as far as the languages is concerned, right? You can note down that as far as the language is concerned, you can note down that you can say, you can note down that Mizo and English, right, are the principal languages spoken there. Mizo and English are the principal languages spoken there in the state, right? So Mizo and English, right, are the principal languages spoken there, right, are the principal languages spoken there in the state, right, spoken. So that is important, right? So principal languages spoken there in the state, right? So that is there, right? So the next point is that you can say Mizo language. One important and interesting fact is that Mizo language, right? Mizo language does not have its language does not have its, we can say, have its own script, right? Own script, right? And therefore it is written in Roman script. That is why it is written in Roman script, right? So it's written in Roman script. So that is important, right? It's written in Roman script, right? So as far as the now let us move on to the forest in the state, right? Because we have just discussed that Mizoram is number one in terms of the forest cover of the state, right? So according to the 2020, right? According to 2020 report of Forest Survey of India. That FSI means Forest Survey of India, right? Forest Survey of India. So what is important there? Though, right? Though you can say, though the total, right? Though the total forest cover is highest, right? Is highest in Madhya Pradesh, right? Is highest in Madhya Pradesh, right? Followed by, right? In Madhya Pradesh, इसे लिख लो वो मैं आपको बाद में कराऊंगा, right? Is highest in Madhya Pradesh, but the percentage forest cover, right? But the percentage forest cover is highest in the state of Mizoram. Percentage forest cover is highest in the state of Mizoram, right? So as far as the you can say percentage forest cover is concerned, right? Mizoram has you can say 85.41% of its total area under forest. Mizoram, right? And it is followed by the Arunachal Pradesh, right? Arunachal Pradesh has 79.63% of its total area under forest, right? Total area under forest, and then it is followed by Meghalaya, right? In Meghalaya, there is a 76.33% of area under forest cover. 76.33% of area under forest cover. Then it is followed by Manipur, right? So in Manipur, it is a 75.46% of area under forest cover. Then Manipur. After Manipur, it is Nagaland, right? It is Nagaland. You can say where you can say 75.31% area is under forest, right? Is under forest. So these are the top 5 states in terms of the percentage area under the forest, right? So number 1 Mizoram, number 2 Arunachal, number 3 Meghalaya, number 4 Manipur, number 5 you can say Nagaland, right? So all the northeastern states of India, you must bear it in mind, right? So this is an important point here, right? So the next point to be discussed here is that, right? Next point to be discussed here is that you can say that river, right? So this will be an important discussion here about the river, right? So as far as this is concerned, right? And right, the major or the largest river, right? The major or largest river of Mizoram is, right, is the river, right? Is the river right? Chimtuipui, Chimtuipui, right? Chimtuipui is the river, and this river is known as Caledon River also, as Caledon River also. So this is another name of this river, right? Caledon River also, right? The river, right, originates, right? The river originates in Myanmar, right? Enters into, right, into Mizoram, enters into India, we can say, right? India, and then again, right, turns into Myanmar, right? And right, Myanmar, okay, from where it enters into the Bay of Bengal, right? From where it enters into the Bay of Bengal, right? From where it enters into the Bay of Bengal, right? So it enters into the Bay of Bengal. So this is the point, right? But related with this river, there is one very important point from examination point of view, which we are going to discuss here right now, right? So that basically that point which is important from the examination point of view, right? So that is known as the Caledon River Project, right? Caledon River Project, which is important from the examination point of view here, right? Caledon River Project, right? So Caledon River Project is basically, I'm just telling you, then you can say we will write it, right? It is basically a multi-modal transport project between India and Myanmar. First thing is that, right? We will write it later on. First listen me, right? Multi-modal transport project between India and Myanmar, right? Multimodal means the modes of transport are multiple, means more than one, right? So in this project, the first is there is a connectivity of the Kolkata port with Myanmar through the Bay of Bengal, right? So one route, right? So one mode is right. Uh, you can say connection between Kolkata and Sidhu port of you can say Myanmar through the Bay of Bengal, right? Sea route, right? And then what happens from you can say from that Sidhu port, there is the connection through the Caledon River, right, up to a certain point, right? So that will be through the boat, right? First ship, then boat, right? And then from that point, right, there is a road link, right, up to Manipur, and from Manipur there is another road link up to the Ezawal, which is the capital of this Mizoram, right? So I'm just showing you the map, so so that is there, right? And in parallel there is one you can see railway line will also be there. So that is why it is called the multimodal project. Multimodal project means it involves right shipping route, right? It involves shipping route, means water transport, railway transport, and road transport as well, right? So all the three types of transporters are there which are involved in this. So let me show you the you can say map now, right? So as far as this map is concerned, so it should be here. Yes, this is the right. So is it visible to everybody, beta? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay. So beta, it starts from here, from Kolkata, right? Then through Bay of Bengal, 539 kilometer sea route, right? So it reaches here at Sidhu port, right? From you can say Sidhu port, there is another route through the river Caledon, right? Up to this point, Platwa, right? Right, beta? And from you can say Platwa, there is a road link, right? From Palitva, there is a road link, right? So up to this Palitva, Kalitva, and then road link which enters into this, right? So beta, this is the project basically, right? So you should know it. So I'm, you can say, moving again, right? So beta, this is there, right? So as far as the Caledon River project is concerned, right? So you will note here that Caledon River project is a multi-modal connectivity project between, right? Caledon River project is a multi-modal, right? Is a multi-modal, you can say, transport project, right? Transport connectivity project, right? Connectivity project between India and Myanmar, right? Between India and Myanmar. So this is that, right? So one point is this. So this is the one, right? So you can say it involves, right? So it involves, there are the three components of this project. One component is, right? So we can say one component is, you can say connection between Kolkata port, right? Between Kolkata port, and we can say Sidhu port in Myanmar, and Sidhu port in Myanmar, by the Bay of Bengal, through the Bay of Bengal. So that is the, right, through the Bay of Bengal. So one is that connection, right, which is there. So one is that. So this is about 539 kilometer long, right, route. And the second is that you can say from Sidhu to Palitva, right? From Sidhu to Palitva. Palitva is also in Myanmar, right? Sidhu to Palitva, right? So in Chin state of Myanmar, Palitva in Chin state of Myanmar, right? Via, we can say, Caledon River, right? Via Caledon River, via Caledon River, right? That is the, right, via Caledon River. So this is the second thing, right? So via Caledon River, it moves from Sidhu to this, right? So this is the, so the, now the next, right, third point is that,
Excuse me, sir.
yes.
So this is in China, plat-wise.
No,
Sir, you have written.
Chain state, chain state,
Okay.
chain state, am I marking, right? Chain state. So China is in the north. So this, they, right? So now the things, now the, you can say, third point is that, right? So from Palitva to India, right? From Palitva to India, right? By road. From Palitva to India by road. So this is the three, you can say, components of this project, right? Three components of this project, right? And the next you can note that the project includes, right? The project includes, right? Includes, we can say, a complementary, right? Complementary, we can say, railway line, right? Complementary railway line also. So this railway line will be from, we can say, Sidhu, right? So Sidhu to, right, that is, we can say, right, Kyoktu, Kyaukhtu, Sidhu to Kyoktu, right? And from Kyoktu to Zoripuri. Zoripuri is on the border of India and Myanmar, right? On Myanmar side, Zoripuri, right? And from Zoripuri to Itwell, go to, you can say, Sairang. Sairang is the Ezawal station, right? So Ezawal in Mizoram. So this is the complementary railway line project also, right? So the question can be asked there, right? So Caledon River project. The question can be asked that Caledon River project, right, between India and Myanmar, right, between India and Myanmar, right, involves, right. Number one, we can say, right, uh, we can say involves water link only, or water transport only, right, water transport only, right. Number two, okay, that is you can say, right, water and road transport only, right, water and road transport only, right, water and road transport only. And number three, there can be water, road, right, and rail transport, water, road, and rail transport, that can be there, right? And transport, right. And fourth can be, you can say there, right, water, right, road, rail, and we can say air connectivity, right. So this type of you can say question can be asked to you कि ये चार statements हैं आपकी ABCD, let's suppose, right. So इनमें से कौन सी correct statement है? So third will be the correct statement. So it involves water, road, and rail transport, right. So all the three are involved in this, right. So this was about this, we can say, Caledon project, right. So you must bear it in mind, right. So now the next which we are going to discuss here, that is you can say Mizoram has two, right. Mizoram has two, right? Mizoram has two, we can say, national parks, right. Mizoram has two national parks. It has two national parks, right. What two national parks? One is called the Blue Mountain National Park, Blue Mountain National Park, right. Blue Mountain National Park, right. And the second thing is that we can say Dampa Tiger Reserve, Dampa Tiger Reserve, right. Dampa Tiger Reserve. So this is the largest in the state of Mizoram, right. Dampa Tiger Reserve. So this is there, right. And apart from that, you must bear in mind that Lushai Hills, right. Lushai Hills, this name is associated with the Mizoram, right. Lushai Hills are in Mizoram. So you must remember this also, right. So this can be asked. So that is there, right. So apart from that, we can say the languages spoken, right. Languages, if we talk about the languages here, right, about 73% population of the state, right, speaks speak we can say Mizo. 73% people speak Mizo, right. So that is enough, no need to, right, remember other languages. So that is the Mizo, right. So now basically Mizo, right. So what is Mizo? What is this Mizo? Now that is important, right. So Mizo is not a single tribe. First of all, you must remember this, right. So Mizo is not the name of a single tribe. That's important, right. Mizo is not the name of a single tribe. Right? Mizo is not the name of a single tribe, right. It is a common name. It is a common name of various ethnic tribes, right, of various ethnic tribes in the state of Mizoram, right? So in the state of Mizoram, right. So it means a number of ethnic tribes which are living in Mizoram. The collective name of those ethnic tribes is the Mizo. They are called Mizos collectively, right? Mizos collectively. Why? Because why? Because those ethnic groups, right? Those ethnic groups, right? Have you can say those ethnic groups are culturally or culturally and or linguistically we can say linked, right? So they having certain common association. They are having certain association. So that is why we can say they collectively are known as the Mizos. Mizos, right? Okay. So now we will move on the right a little bit. You can say political or
सर एक मिनट मेरा प्लीज थोड़ा रंदा नोट करना.
low.
हो गया सर. ओके.
Okay.
हाँ जी सर.
Okay. So now the next thing is about the insurgency in the state. Okay. So insurgency in Mizoram. Insurgency in Mizoram, right? So as far as the insurgency in Mizoram is concerned, this is important to discuss here, right? So as we know that uh, after India became independent in 1947. Everybody knows it. After independence of India in 1952, right? The region was granted autonomous status. Right, the region was granted autonomous status so that it can make, right, so that it can make its own laws. It can make its own laws and decide matters and decide the, you can say, right, own laws and deliver justice. We can say deliver justice. So that was the, you can say, thing in 1952 which happened there. And then in 1954, right, in 1954, the next thing which is there, the region was renamed Mizo district, right? The region was renamed Mizo district, renamed Mizo district within the state of Assam, right? Mizo district within the state of Assam. So this region was renamed Mizo district within the state of Assam, we can say, right? So this was there as renamed Mizo district within the state of Assam. And then next, in 1955, we can say, in 1955, so what was there in 1955, we can say, right? So what was there in 1955, right? So there it was that, right? So what was there in 1955? So it was there that, can say, in 1955, the States Reorganization Commission, right? States Reorganization Commission, right? States Reorganization Commission recommended to integrate States Reorganization Commission recommended to integrate, right, Mizo dominated areas Mizo dominated areas in right of Tripura, in Tripura, right, in Tripura, and we can say Manipur, in Tripura and Manipur with we can say district council in Assam, with district council in Assam. जो उनकी district council बनी हुई थी उसके साथ उनको associate करने का साथ इसकी recommendation थी, right? Then in 1956, right, another you can say event happened. So what happened? Some tribal, right, some tribal leaders, right, so who were not, right, some tribal leaders who were not happy with the recommendations of right, happy with the recommendations of the States Reorganization Commission. SRC means the States Reorganization Commission, right? So met in we can say Isabel, and formed a new political party, right? And formed a new political party, right? Known as we can say Eastern India Tribal Union, right? Eastern India Tribal Union. So that was their political party, EITU, right? Eastern India Tribal Union, EITU political party. They made this political party, right? And then you can say they raised demand, and then they raised demand for right, we can say separate state. There is demand for separate state comprising, right, comprising we can say all hill districts of Assam, comprising all hill districts of Assam, right? तो कहते कि असम के सभी हिल डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स को मिला के आप हमें एक स्टेट दे दो, right? And that demand was not accepted. Right? So this was one part of the story up to this point. Right? This was one part of the story up to this point. But the another, which is the real problem, right, starts after this, right? So this was up to you can say 1956 and 19 that up to that time, right? So now the next thing which is very important here, right? So that is basically the you can say that is basically the Motam famine, right? Motam famine, formation of Mizo National Front, and operation, right? And operation you can say Jericho, and operation Jericho, AERICHO, operation Jericho, right? Operation Jericho. So basically, this is the main important thing, right? From where we can say the insurgency in the state, you can see took place, right? This is the important thing from where the insurgency in the state took place, right? Happened. So this is an important turning point, we can say, in the history of this state, in the history of Mizoram, right? This is a very important turning point in the history of Mizoram, right? So beta, first of all, we should know about this Motam famine, right? And then we had to discuss about this, how Mizo National Front was formed, how Operation Jericho was, you can say, conducted, right? And how the developments after that took place in the history of the state, right? So then we will move on, right? So beta, basically, Motam famine, right? So Motum famine occurred in the state between, right? Motum famine occurred in the state between 1959, right? So it occurred in the state, right? In the state between 1959 and 60, right? 1959 and 60 and 60, right? So if we you can say try to talk it in a very simple language, that then when this famine occurred in 1969, that at that time, at that time, right, at that time, a Mizo National, right, famine front, Mizo National famine front was formed by Pu Laldenga, right? Pu Laldenga is the leader who formed the Mizo National Famine Front at that time, right? Mizo National Famine Front at that time. The purpose was to, right? The purpose was what they were thinking that the government has failed to tackle the crisis emerging from the famine, right? So they formed this, right? So we can say Laldenga, right, formed this front, right? Uh, because according to him, right, the government, the government, right, the government failed to, right, address properly the crisis, right, emerged from the famine, right? The crisis emerged from the famine. So that is why they formed this front to help the, you can say, people of Mizoram, right? People of that region who were affected by that famine. The basic purpose was that, right? And then after approximately 2 years, 1 or 2 years, this front turned into a political party, and the word famine was removed from its name, and it became the Mizo National Front, right? So that was the right. And with the formation of the Mizo National Front, the problem started in the state, right? So that is basically there. So now before moving ahead, right? So we will discuss about this Motam famine, right? So first of all, beta, Motam, right? What is Motam, right? So Motam is a in Mizo, right? Motam is a combination of two words, right? So one word is Mao and second word is Tam, right? One word is Mao and second word is Tam, Mao Tam, right? Mao Tam, right? So Mao means bamboo, right? Mao means bamboo in their language, right? And the Tam means, you can say, death. So it is a bamboo death phenomena, death of bamboo phenomena, right? So Mizoram is a state where bamboo cultivation is very common, right? Their bamboo cultivation is very common. Okay, and among that bamboo cultivation, there in the state, right? So one bamboo species, right, which is called, you can say, Melocana bacifera, right? So Melocana bacifera, BA, or you can say CIFERA, right? Melocana bacifera is the common species, is the common bamboo species which is grown there. Bamboo species which is grown there, right? So this is the common bamboo species which is grown there, right? And in their local language, right? Local language. They call it, you can say, Motak. M-A-U-T-A-K. So Motak is the name of a bamboo species, and Motam is the name of the death of bamboo, right? So you must differentiate between these two things, right? So beta, this is a very interesting phenomenon which I am going to discuss with you, right? So Kamal is there, who is doing agriculture, you can say, who is studying agriculture science, right? Agricultural science. So that is why uh, she must have better knowledge about this, right? So now the thing is that this is about this, right? Bamboo death. I'm coming to that point, right? So basically, this phenomena is called death of bamboo. Actually, this is a very, you can say, surprising, or this is a very unique, right? Ecological phenomena which happens every approximately after every 50 years, right? This is a unique ecological phenomenon, right? This is a unique ecological phenomena which happens, right? Every 50 years approximately, right? Every 50 years approximately. So this is a unique and important phenomena which happens approximately every 50 years, right? Every 50 years, right? So what happens? Motam uh, is related with the right abnormal increase in the rodent population there, right? So Motam is related with the increase in is related with, right? Motam is related with abnormal increase, right? Abnormal increase in rodent population, means rat population, right? चूहों की population, increase in rodent population there, right? Rodent population there. So rodents, we can say, right? Rodents damage the crops, right? Ravaged the crops, damage the crops, right? Rodents damage the crops, and and it leads to, right? And it leads to famine situation in the state. Famine situation in the state, right? So this is an ecological phenomenon, right? So ये एक ऐसा टाइम होता है जब जो रोडेंट्स है, रैट्स हैं, चूहों की पॉपुलेशन बहुत ज्यादा हो जाती है. सो वहाँ मेन जो जो भी उनकी एग्रीकल्चरल क्रॉप्स हैं, सो वो चूहे उन क्रॉप्स को डैमेज करते हैं. मेजर शेयर उन क्रॉप्स का चूहे हैं जो वो डैमेज कर देते हैं. एंड दैट इज व्हाई मिजोरम has to face the scarcity of the food, right? When this phenomena happens, so it leads to the famine, right? So in 1959-60, there was a very severe famine which occurred due to this Motam phenomena, right? So now let me come on, you can say, this Motam phenomena. You know that you can say Kamal is sitting there. So uh, bamboo is such a type of grass, right? Which flowers only once in its life, right? So bamboo एक grass है, अपनी life में सिर्फ एक बार ही उसकी flowering होती है, right? And then you can say after flowering, it dies, right? It becomes dead after flowering. So Motam means bamboo death, राइट। सो बैम्बू की फ्लावरिंग होती है, फ्लावरिंग के बाद ये जो बैम्बू है इसकी डेथ हो जाती है, ये नहीं रहता, राइट। सो देर आर certain bamboo species which flower, right, after you can say 40 to 50 years, right. It takes 40 to 50 years for that bamboo species to you can say flower, right. So ये जो मोतक है, मोतक is such a type of species which is you can say 90% of the total bamboo grown in the state, that is the motek bamboo, right. So it is such a species which you can say flowers after approximately 50 years, right. And after that that bamboo dies, right, after that flower. Okay. And when the flowering occurs to the bamboo, at that time the rodent population suddenly increase, right, due to the flowering of the bamboos, right. So bamboo की flowering की वजह से वहाँ चूहों की population बढ़ जाती है अचानक, right. And due to that increase of the rodent population, right, then rodents you can say ravage their crops, damage their crops, and the famine like situation happens in the state, right. So sometimes it can be controlled, sometimes it cannot be controlled, right, because if we talk about the situation in 1959-56, right, so we were not that much developed, the state was not that much resourceful, the country was not that much resourceful, right. So agriculture scientists were not you can say up to that level, right. So beta that is why this uh, you can say the crop was damaged to a greater extent, right. And better after that also happened it in 2004-5 also, right. Again you can say the bamboo grass you can say flowered again in 2004-5 because approximately 50 year ho chale the na 59 के बाद, right. So to 2004-5-6-7 में अगेन वहां फ्लावरिंग हुई, राइट, बट उस टाइम पे कंट्रोल कर लिया गया था, राइट, जो रोडेंट पॉपुलेशन को उस टाइम पे कंट्रोल कर लिया गया था, राइट. 1959-60 में it was difficult to control, right, it could not be controlled, so that is why, right, the rats you can say came out to the fields and they you can say destroyed their crop, right, and the famine happened during that time. Is it okay up to this point, Peter? Have you understand it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Very
sir.
interesting.
Very much
Okay.
interesting facts, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
So beta, yes, so beta, this is, and you can say natural and you can say ecological phenomena है ये, ठीक है. सो ये तो होता रहेगा, राइट. 50 साल बाद इसको फ्लावरिंग होगी इसकी, तो ये तो होता रहेगा. तो गवर्नमेंट की साइड पे ये होता है कि कंट्रोल कैसे करना है, राइट. एंड यू नो बेटा, whatever happens, right, though you can say it is due to the natural reasons or whatever it is, right, the people generally you can say expect from the government that you can say it may come to help them, right. So the same happened there, right. So at that time the people expected from the government that you can say government would do something to help them, right. So you can say sometimes governments fail to match the expectation of the people, so that is why the problem arises, right. So you can say, so considering that, right, considering that the government had failed to, right, that the government had failed to do, right, has failed to address the you can say crisis, to address the crisis appropriately, right, to address the crisis appropriately, right. So you can say Mizo National Famine Front was formed, right. Mizo National Feminine Front was formed. Feminine Front was formed in the state, right? Was formed in the state, right? So in 1959, they formed this front, right, to help the people, right? And then what happened, beta? Then in 19, you can say, then in 1961, right? So it turned into a political party. It turned into a political party or group, right? Under the banner of Mizo National Front. Right? Because you can say Lal Denga helped the people of the state during the crisis, right? You can say very honestly, right? He worked very hard for the, you can say, help of the people of the Mizoram at that time, right? Of that region at that time. So that is why people started trusting him, right? So उस लादेंगा में लोगों का फेथ बन गया, राइट? और जब लोगों का फेथ बन गया तो वो तो एम्बिशियस था लड़का लाल देंगा, तो उसमें लोगों का फेथ बन गया, तो उसने एक पॉलिटिकल पार्टी फॉर्म कर ली 1961 में, राइट? एंड आफ्टर द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ द पॉलिटिकल पार्टी, actually the insurgency in the Mizoram started, right? So actual insurgency in the state started after the formation of a Mizo National Front, right? So actual insurgency, right? So actual insurgency in the state, right, started after the formation of, right, after the formation of MNF, Mizo National Front की formation के बाद ही state में actual insurgency start होती है, right? Actual insurgency start होती है, right? So you can say that is there, right? So now what happened there in the state, and what is the entire situation there, right? How did this insurgency progressed in the state? So that is important, right? So beta, what happened there in 1961, right? After the formation of, we can say in 1961, right? After the formation of Mizo National Front, right? They put up a demand for independence of, right? For independence of Mizoram from India, right? For independence from India. इतना ही, क्योंकि तब तक मिजोरम तो बना था, इंडिपेंडेंस फ्रॉम इंडिया। तो उनकी डिमांड थी कि हमने भारत से सेपरेट होना है, right? Because we are a people of a distinct ethnicity, so that is why we want to be separated from India. We want a sovereign status, right? We don't want to live in India, right? So from 1961 till 1966, right? So they, you can say, they kept on pursuing their demand, right? Sometimes violence, sometimes non-violent ways, right? So they kept on pursuing their demand, right? So we can say they kept on pursuing their demand. They kept on pursuing their demand till we can say 1966, like that. वो अपनी डिमांड को परस्यू करते चले गए 1966, right? So then what happened? Right? So what was their demand, first of all? Basically, what was their demand, right? Actually their demand was, right, they were demanding actually right? Greater Mizoram, right? Greater Mizoram, right? Consisting of Greater Mizoram, consisting of areas, right? Consisting of areas, right? Areas, right? We can say what areas, right? Number one, we can say borderline territories, of Tripura and Manipur. Tripura and Manipur. एक तो वो मानते थे Tripura and Manipur, right? So that was there, and Tripura and Manipur. And दूसरा इसमें क्या था? They were demanding, you can say we can say Kachar district of Assam. That was also demanded by them. So this was their Greater Mizoram, which they were demanding from the government of India at that time, right? So this is Greater Mizoram. Is it clear up to this point? They were demanding like that, right? Yes. So beta, what happens ultimately after this, right? After this, on 1st of March 1966, right? On March 1st, 1966, or on 1st of March 1966, right? On 1st of March 1966, what happened, beta? The Mizo National Front declared independence. Right? Which was unexpected for the government. Declared independence. So the independence was declared at that time. Right? So what happened? Along with the declaration of independence, right? Along with the declaration of independence, they launched Operation Jericho, Jericho. They launched Operation Jericho. Right. So, beta, as far as this Operation Jericho is concerned, Operation Jericho they launched. Right. So, what was their purpose? Operation Jericho was what? It was a planned, comprehensive, and simultaneous. It was a planned, comprehensive, and simultaneous attack by the Mizo activists on all the police and security posts in the state. So इतना बड़ा ऑपरेशन था ये कि स्टेट के अंदर जहां भी कोई पुलिस पोस्ट थी, जहां भी कोई सिक्योरिटी पोस्ट थी, है ना? सो एक ही समय पे एट द सेम टाइम एंटायर पुलिस पोस्ट्स के ऊपर अटैक किया पूरी स्टेट में, राइट? सो जस्ट इमेजिन कि कितना बड़ा ऑपरेशन था ये उनका, है ना? और कितना डेयरिंग ऑपरेशन था ये उनका, राइट? सो ये हुआ उस टाइम पे. एंड बेटा, this was such a time at that time, right? So Mizoram has went through such a phase, right? You must be, you can say, astonished to hear that, right? The government of the state was run from the headquarters of the, you can say, Assam Rifles. उन्होंने अपना सेक्रेटेरिएट खाली कर दिया था डर की वजह से, और वो असम राइफल्स के हेडक्वार्टर में जाकर के बैठ गए थे, राइट? गवर्नमेंट थी जो, राइट? तो वहां से वो गवर्नमेंट चलाते थे, राइट एंड बेटा मिजोरम की पुलिस को मतलब असम राइफल्स को प्रोटेक्शन देनी पड़ी, राइट। सो असम राइफल्स ने मिजोरम की पुलिस को सिक्योरिटी प्रोवाइड की। So such a big operation was that, such was the magnitude of that, you can say, action of the Lal Denga led Mizo National Front. So देखो कितनी बड़ी चीज है ना। So इतना
Yes,
बड़ा,
sir.
हाँ इतना बड़ा ऑपरेशन है ना कि पुलिस को भी मतलब सिक्योरिटी देनी पड़े,
प्रोटेक्शन लेनी पड़ेगी।
हाँ है ना, मतलब और फिर कॉमन सिटीजन्स का मतलब
लेमैन ਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਕੋਈ ਬਿਲकुल सर
हाँ है ना। And the government was also run from the headquarters of the Assam Rifles, right? So see what was the situation at that time, you can imagine. So this was the scene, right? So then that when you can say this operation was conducted, was held by the this Mizo National Front, then what happened with her? So obviously central government was to come in motion at that time, right? Right. So beta the, you can say, to counter it, right? To counter it, we can say the government of India, counter it, the government of India sent army battalions. Government of India sent army battalions and paramilitary forces state, right? Paramilitary forces to the state to suppress the insurgency, insurgency को suppress करने के लिए उनको भेजना पड़ा, right? To suppress the insurgency, okay, and restore peace there, So that was the main thing, right? So you can see, though it was suppressed once, so I will move, I will come back to this point again. Though it was suppressed once, right? But it became a battleground. For Mizo National Front and the Indian Army, right? तो ये जो एरिया था ये एक बैटल ग्राउंड बन गया मिजो नेशनल फ्रंट एंड यू कैन से इंडियन आर्मी के बीच में, राइट? एंड यू कैन से इंडियन आर्मी. So beta, you can say beyond the expectation of the Mizo National Front activists, the operation conducted by the government was unimaginable, right? At that time, Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister of the country. So what happened with her? So according to the security personnel, that perhaps this was the first incident in the history of the world. What happened there in the Mizoram at that time, right? And at that time, what happened with you can see, right? The air attacks were resorted to. Air attacks was, you can say, right, targeted at. Air attacks were targeted at Mizoram. Right? So air force को involve होना पड़ा, air attacks की, right? Bombardment की, right? So this is very unique incident that that a government, right? This is a very unique incident, right? This is a very unique incident that we can say the government of a country, right, bombarded its own citizens, right? Bombarded its, we can say, own citizens, but the government was having, I think, no option at that time. The government of a country bombarded its, you can say, own citizens, right? So bombardment करनी पड़ी, गवर्नमेंट को अपने सिटीजन्स के ऊपर ही वहाँ. So that was the situation at that time there, right? So beta, when the you can say when these you can say air raids happen, right? When these air raids happen, you know that you can say what is the extent of problem in the Jammu and Kashmir and what was the extent of problem in Punjab in those days. Even you can say in these areas, you can say air raids were not connected, right? And there
Yes.
it was connected, right? And there it was connected, right? So what happened during that time? The civilians, right? Civilians, you can say, fled to the hills, right? Civilians ने अपने घर छोड़ दिए और वो हिल्स पे चले गए, वहां से निकल के प्लेन एरिया में चले गए, right? And then बेटा rebels to, right? जो वो मिजो नेशनल फ्रंट के एक्टिविस्ट्स थे, right? Rebels, you can say, retreated. वो उनको पीछे हटना पड़ा, right? Retreated to forests, right? Retreated to forests in Myanmar and East Pakistan. वो वहां से निकल के वो ईस्ट पाकिस्तान और म्यांमार के जंगलों में चले गए, right? And East Pakistan. So this was happened, right? This happened there at that time. This was the first civilian attack from air by the Indian Air Force, right? In India. So ये पहला सिविलियन अटैक हुआ था, सॉरी सिविलियंस के ऊपर अटैक हुआ था, अटैक ऑन सिविलियंस बाय द इंडियन
तो पीक
आर्मी.
सीजर बिल्कुल ना उठे
Yes,
थे.
yes. That and the next I'm telling you what was there, right? What was there? So beta, the situation was such a grave that you can say all the villages were, you can say, evacuated. सभी के सभी गांवों को खाली करवा दिया गया था, right? All the villages were evacuated, right? And the people were put in camps. जो लोग थे उनको कैंप्स में, right? Camps, right? Alongside the highways के ऊपर कैंप्स लगा दिए गए थे, right? और सभी लोगों को वहां मतलब रख लिया गया था, right? So all the individuals in the camps were issued the identity cards. All the individuals in the camps were issued the identity cards, right? Camps were issued the identity cards, right? Identity cards, right? And everyone who was traveling, right? And everyone who was moving, right? Who was moving was to keep identity card with him, was to keep identity card with him or her, right? Identity card with him or her, right? अगर किसी को विदाउट आइडेंटिटी कार्ड पकड़ लिया जाता था तो उसको सीधा, उसकी कोई बात नहीं सुनी जाती थी, उसको सीधा अरेस्ट कर लिया जाता था, राइट? सो गांव बिल्कुल खाली करवा दिए गए थे, राइट? सो दिस हैपेंड देयर. सभी लोगों को हाईवे के यू कैन से साइड पे कैंप्स बना के वहां पर उनको रख लिया गया था, सभी को आइडेंटिटी कार्ड इशू कर दिए गए थे, सो दैट कोई भी जो मिजो एक्टिविस्ट है वो आकर के इन लोगों के बीच में छुप ना सके और गवर्नमेंट को ऑपरेशन करने की आसानी रहे. सो दैट वाज द थिंग एट दैट टाइम देयर, राइट? सो बेटा इतना बड़ा यू कैन से इतना बड़ा अरेंजमेंट गवर्नमेंट को करना पड़े. सो यू कैन इमेजिन दैट व्हाट वाज द हाइट ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम इन दैट एट दैट. ओके, सो दिस इज द राइट. सो नेक्स्ट बेटा देन व्हाट हैपेंड. 1966 में गवर्नमेंट का एक्शन होता है, ऑपरेशन जेरिचो होता है, एंड इन 1967 द MNF, right, was, you can say, outlawed, right? Outlawed, or it was banned, we can say, right? It was banned. इसको बैन कर दिया जाता है 1967, राइट? वो जो ऑलडेंगा और जो एक्टिविस्ट है वो सभी इधर उधर जंगलों में हैं, वो कभी कभार बाहर आते हैं, बाहर आके अटैक्स करते हैं, राइट? और फिर वो अपना चले जाते हैं, वो ग्रीला फाइट लड़ते हैं इनके साथ, राइट? सो क्योंकि सिचुएशन वैसे ही बन गई कि आमने सामने फाइट उनके लिए पॉसिबल नहीं थी रही, but they were supported by the China, they were supported by the Pakistan also, right? That was there, right? So that is why the situation turned so bad at that time, right? So beta, then what happened? The things you can say kept on moving like this, right? And there was no improvement in the situation. Then in 1971, right? In 1971, right? We can say a delegation from the region, right? From the region met the then Prime Minister of India. met the then Prime Minister of India. उनकी बातचीत हुई Prime Minister के साथ, then Prime Minister of India, right? And you can say, and demanded a separate, right, state of Mizoram within Indian Union, right? So अब ये बात आ गई कि हमें भारत के अंदर ही हमें एक स्टेट दे दो, right, within Indian Union, right, within Indian Union, right? And the government offered them, the government offered to make to the government offered to establish a union territory instead, established a union territory instead, right? गवर्नमेंट कहती कि स्टेट तो नहीं अभी बना सकते, अभी हम आपको यूनियन टेरिटरी का स्टेटस दे देते हैं, right? Union territory instead, and hence in 1972, right, it was accorded the status of a union territory, and hence in 1972, right, it was accorded AUT status, right? It was accorded a union territory status. इसको union territory का status मिल गया था इस time, right? The union territory status, right? And the, you can say, problems kept on, right? Problem could not, you can say, subsided in that time. Then what happened better? Then on 30th of June, at last, on 30th of June, right? On 30th of June, 1986, right? You can say Government of India and the Mizo National Front, right? Government of India and the Mizo National Front, right, entered into an agreement, right, which is called Mizo Peace Accord. So it was during the time of Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, right? Mizo Peace Accord, right? And the major understanding in that agreement was right? The major understanding in that agreement was that you can say Mizoram would be given the status of a state, right? Status of a state. So गवर्नमेंट ने अपनी तरफ से मिजोरम को स्टेट बनाने की प्रिपरेशन से स्टार्ट कर दी थी, और उधर जो मिजो एक्टिविस्ट थे, राइट, तो उन्होंने अपनी तरफ से जो भी करना था, राइट, वहाँ पीस के लिए उन्होंने अपनी तरफ से एफर्ट स्टार्ट कर दी थी. सो ये चलता है. सो देन बेटा व्हाट हैपेंड इन February 1987, right? In February 1987, you can say, right? 20th of February 1987, right? February 1987, right? Mizoram was declared a state. Mizoram was declared a state. Declared a state, right? Declared a state, right? And Lal Denga, right, became the first chief minister of the state, became the first chief minister of the state, right? And it led to the end of insurgency in the state, end of insurgency in the state, right? End of insurgency in the state. ठीक है. So अब वहाँ का एक लालडेंगा के बाद कोई चीफ मिनिस्टर रहे हैं वो 2 terms के लिए, and he was also in the team of Laldenga. He was also a very hardcore militant at that time, right? And you can say, and that person, you can say, has written a book in, I think, Mizo language, and now that book is going to be translated into, you can say, English. So उस बुक के अंदर उसने उस टाइम का पूरा सब कुछ उसने बयान किया है कि what was the situation here at that time, right? और उसने उस बुक के अंदर ये भी बताया है कि you can say कि how we were supported by the Pakistan and China etc countries, right? So उसने उस बुक के अंदर अपना पूरा डिटेल बताई है. So बेटा ये एक ऐसी चीज थी, right? And बेटा this is perhaps, you can say, right, this is perhaps now we can say that concluding marks. So this is perhaps, right, this is perhaps a very unique insurgency, a very unique insurgency of a great magnitude, right? A great magnitude which ended with the stroke of pen only, right? Ended with the stroke of pen only. So ये एक बहुत एक बड़ी एग्जाम्पल है लोगों के लिए कि इतनी बड़ी इंसर्जेंसीज को भी हम थ्रू द मीडियम ऑफ डायलॉग हम उनको ठीक कर सकते हैं. ये एक बहुत ही बड़ी और मेजर एग्जाम्पल है लोगों के लिए, राइट? कि दिस कैन बी, ऐसी बड़ी इंसर्जेंसीज को हम टैकल कर सकते हैं, एड्रेस कर सकते हैं, राइट? सो विद दिस मीडियम ओनली, राइट? सो दिस इज दैट बेटा. एंड बेटा वो टाइम था कि जब वो जंगलों में चले गए थे, उसके बाद भी वो एक पैरेलल गवर्नमेंट रन करते रहे. वो गन पॉइंट पे आकर के टैक्स लेते रहे लोगों से, राइट? सो ये सब कुछ वहां चलता रहा, राइट? अपनी गवर्नमेंट चलाने के लिए वो टैक्स भी लेते थे. सो ये सब कुछ चलता रहा. एंड सच वाज द हाइट ऑफ द insurgency in this state of Mizoram, but thanks to our Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, that it was, you can say, resolved with just you can say stroke of pen only, right? And at that time, you can say Rajiv Gandhi, you can say, took initiatives to handle such type of problems, right? In case of Punjab also, he and entered into a Rajiv Longowal agreement, but unfortunately that was not implemented due to certain political issues, right? And you can say Assam problem was also resolved by, you can say, Rajiv Gandhi, right, at that time. So you can say such initiatives, and you can say this can be an example that you can say it is not necessary that you can say gun for gun is the only solution, right? So pen for gun can also be a solution, right? As in the case of Mizoram, we have seen it, right? So beta, this is all about the state of Mizoram, right? So this led to an end of militancy in the state of Mizoram, right? So this is there. So anything you want to ask, beta, please tell me.
No, sir. Everything is cleared by you
Yes, sir.
very well.
बहुत अच्छा लग गया लेक्चर.